If you are looking to really start dressing your body in such a way that it invokes confidence, that it's your version of style, and that it just makes you feel more at home and at ease and beautiful and just confident in your body, this episode is for you. Today, I am joined by the amazing Ginger Bird to talk all about how we can dress and feel confident in our body no matter what age or season we're in. You see, I think often that many of us are just waiting either for our body to be a certain way before we buy new clothes or before we take effort to, look and feel confident in what we wear and how we dress. And some of us, maybe the season has changed or we've aged and just things that once worked don't work anymore. And so I know for me as a new mom, at very early on in postpartum had to say, you know what, I can't fit some of those old clothes, but also they're just not my style anymore. So why am I going to try to wait to fit those when they're not my style? And actually my body has changed. So let me go and get new clothes or dress in a way that I just feel confident for where my body is at right now. And it has made me feel more confident in every area of my life and just learn to appreciate my body for where it is. And so if you're just looking to finally get back to really dressing your body in a way that you love and it really just cares for yourself, then this is for you. Ginger is the president of Total Image Consultants and has helped women around the world create a wardrobe they love by connecting with their inner essence. She's a graduate of Mount Holyoke College and the author of That's So You, Create a Look You Love with Beauty, Style, and Grace. She's been interviewed by The Worth Magazine, Forbes Magazine, Fox News, and Bloomberg Business. And I just enjoy talking with her. And she's just going to give you such great tips around body image and dressing, age-appropriate dressing, lifestyle changes, fashion changes, and really how to create a style that's so you, right? And so enjoy this episode. Be sure you check out her resources, her book, all that information. But I also want to invite you to something before you leave. So this week in my Facebook group and an email, I am hosting my Food Freedom Challenge. And one of the main focuses of this challenge is actually restoring your relationship with your body. I believe both in words and action, we need to do that. And so this, Ginger talks about dressing it. Maybe that's your action, but I think it all starts in mindset too, right? Which is what we even talked about in this episode. So if you have not joined this Food Freedom Challenge yet, be sure to join us. It's 7 days. You can catch up. Go to madewell345.com/food freedom challenge, madewell345.com/food freedom challenge, and make sure you join us. And even if you're like, okay, challenges are great, but I'm looking for more in-depth, more coaching, my 6-week group program, the More Than Your Weight Bootcamp, is opening up end of this week for the challengers. And this is going to be a transformational experience to dive deep into the mindset around setting goals that are aligned with who you are now and where you want to be, your version of food and body freedom, your version of caring for your body through healthy habits, your version of nourishing your whole soul and life, your version of really celebrating what's more than on the scale, your beyond the scale victories, and your version of what it means to celebrate, reflect, and take pride in the progress you've made. So if that sounds like anything you're interested in, I hope it is, please join us on the wait list, because then you'll be the first to know when enrollment opens, and then we can chat and just see if it's a great fit for you. It's going to be an amazing round. And I'm so excited to offer the foundational aspects that I offer my one-on-one clients in this group format to make it more accessible. So join the waitlist, go to madewell345.com/bootcamp, join the challenge, and I can't wait to support you in your version of food and body freedom in this season. All right, bye. You're listening to the More Than Your Weight podcast, and I am Brianna Wilkerson, your host. Over half my life, I really struggled with my relationship with food, my body, and myself. I was constantly finding my worth in my weight, in what I did, in how I looked, and how other people saw me. And healthy living was just about getting that affirmation. But when I started to see that my worth and my health was so much more than my weight, I found breakthrough. Yes, my body got to a weight that it really thrived at, but more so than that, I loved myself. I took care of myself and I cared for my body in the way that it needed. And I am on a mission to help other women do the same. And so through this podcast, my programs, my group, I really am on a mission to help other women find peace with food, feel confident in their bodies again, and develop healthy habits and a lifestyle that's so much more than about their weight. So I'm so excited to journey with you on this podcast where you'll find solo episodes, guest interviews, and an occasional essential oil episode from time to time. But before you leave, I want you to do a couple things. Make sure you join my Facebook group, More Than Your Weight Women's Community, where you can unpack these episodes, get weekly trainings, monthly challenges, and a lot of support. But also be sure to hit subscribe and rate and review this podcast, because guess what? I want to make sure this podcast pops in your inbox every single week. But then if you are on Instagram, make sure you follow me there, because I show a little bit behind the scenes of my business and my own health journey. So I'm so excited that you're here. Can't wait for you to listen to this new episode. But also, again, just know that you are so much more than your weight. Your health and your worth is so much more than your weight. All right, enjoy the episode, and I hope to talk to you soon. Hey everyone, welcome back to the More Than Your Weight podcast. Today, I'm really excited to have a conversation around how to dress and feel confident in your body, no matter what age or season you're in. This is something that I just think, I was mentioning just my audience, we're just all, as women, we're waiting to a perfect season to feel good, to dress ourselves appropriately. And I just think we need to stop that. And really, no matter what age or season we're in, to really dress and feel confident in what we wear. So I brought Ginger Burr on to talk to us all about it, and she is a professional in this area. So I'll have her introduce herself and tell us a little bit about you and what you do.
Oh, thanks, Brianna. I'm happy to be here. Yes, I am an image consultant, and I'm not an image consultant because I knew how to dress myself from birth. I basically did not. I struggled, as a lot of my clients do now. And through my teens and my 20s, I didn't know how to dress in a way. And that's usually a time when most people feel really confident. I have so many clients who say, oh, when I was 20, I could throw anything on. I never felt like that. I always felt a little out of sorts. So I finally was able to connect with somebody who was able to give me the tools. I was just about to turn 30, was able to give me the tools to be able to make really great choices when I was putting together a wardrobe, when I was getting dressed every day. And that was life-changing, totally life-changing. And I picked it up really quickly and had an affinity for it. I loved it. And I realized, there are a lot of women out there struggling with this, a lot of women who feel disempowered by their wardrobe and by that experience of getting dressed. And I knew that I could help them. So it was really a lifetime in coming to that point where I realized that this was what I needed and wanted to do with my life to support other women.
That's amazing. So what does that practically look like when someone's coming to you? What do they struggle with the most? How do you help them? Obviously don't give away everything, but just what does that look like?
Well, the majority of my clients are over 40, although interestingly, I have had an influx of women in their 30s come in recently, particularly for color analysis, but not only for that. In fact, there was an article out there in the Washington Post just very recently, I have it here somewhere, that talks about, it says something like color analysis is back. And it's really that, people are starting to realize, even younger women, that color is a foundational component of creating a wardrobe. And it streamlines things. So many people, and I've found this, you're in the millennial group, so maybe you can say if this is true or not, but I found that many millennials really want to streamline things. Let's just get to the heart of the matter here. And when you know what colors look really good on you, you can ignore the ones that don't. You don't have to have every color in your wardrobe, and you can, mix and match things more easily and have a smaller wardrobe that works well. So that is something that a lot of people come to me with. I have too many clothes and I don't know how. I can't make outfits. The old cliche of lots of clothes and nothing to wear. And so my job always is to look at that and see, why do they have all those clothes? Why are they not wearing those things that they have? And how can I help them to understand either why they will never work and they should just get rid of them? How could they repurpose them? Or how could they make better choices in the future? And so a lot of women struggle with too many clothes. A lot struggle with, particularly as we get a little older, they struggle with body stuff going on. Bodies change from having children, menopause, just weight gain, weight loss, those kinds of things. And now what they used to wear doesn't work anymore. So, those are two of the biggest reasons, but there's lots of underlying reasons under that as well.
Yeah. Yeah. And I love what you mentioned around streamline. So I recently, obviously I'm 14 months postpartum. So my first child is only 14 months. And I was just like waiting to like get back in the clothes, or then I eventually looked at it, I'm like, that's just not my style anymore. Like, I don't even like those clothes. Right. And so I recently just like got rid of a lot of clothes, and I just went, and I really like particularly the top that I'm wearing now. And I went and bought like 5 different colors that look good on me. And I'm like, I just going to make this super easy streamline. Obviously I have a young child too, so streamline is good, but yeah, like, it's just like what looks good on me. And I'm just going to focus on that and like, stay there. It's funny that you also mentioned color, because my sister, I went shopping with her. She's about 19. And I said, do you like this shirt? She's like, that's so you. Like, she knew my style. And I'm just like, oh, wow, you're right. That is me. But I also felt really good that I'm like purchasing stuff that is me now. And I'm much more confident in that. But obviously,
it's so funny that you mentioned that, because I wrote a book a few years ago.
Yeah, you did.
The title of the book is That's So You.
Yeah. Yes.
And it's also funny what you mentioned about buying one shirt. First of all, that color is awesome on you. And secondly, I wish you all out there could see it. But also, I just did an Instagram post and Facebook post about how I found a top that I really liked, and I bought it in 3 colors. So that's not against the rules. If colors all look good on you and you love the top, then hey, more power to you. Definitely do it.
Yeah, totally. I agree. So, we mentioned just, I know, we really want to focus on like, as we get older or things change or seasons change, like I mentioned, I'm in a different season than I've ever been, being postpartum with being a mom, just like our style or confidence changes. And so particularly, let's talk about age. And so what are the top 3 reasons that you see that our personal style, like confidence, fades as we get older?
Yes. So the reasons are, and they're fairly broad, but one is that our bodies change. And that's a biggie. And even if we think it's not going to, it does. Even if we haven't gained weight, I can't tell you how many women I've worked with who said, you know what, I weigh exactly the same as I have for the past 10 years. Things have shifted. Now, things are tighter around my tummy, or, snugger in the hips, or whatever it might be. So the bodies shift. And things get a little softer as we get older too. And so dressing our bodies can feel a little foreign to us as we get older. And we lose confidence. Like, that used to look really good on me, and now I feel kind of yucky in it. The other reason is that our lifestyles change. I work with women who, they're changing jobs, or they are, starting their own business, or they're now going to be more visible, whereas before they were in a career where they were kind of behind the scenes. And so now what do I wear? Or, they're retiring, or they're staying home with children. Whatever it is, when your lifestyle changes, your wardrobe needs change. And so you can't just necessarily, sometimes you can, but often you can't just fall back on what you've always worn, because it doesn't fit into what you're now doing in your life. And the third reason is that fashion changes. Even if neither of those other 2 things change, fashion changes. It's just a fact of life. And so where, shrugs used to be in, now longer sweaters are in, or, where we used to wear lots of color, now we really wear more neutrals, or whatever it might be, or now we wear oversized. So being able to navigate the world of fashion can be very daunting if you're used to wearing a particular style that's either no longer in style, or you just can't find it as much anymore, or it doesn't fit your body as well. So those 3 changes that just naturally happen as life goes along can undermine our belief in ourselves and our confidence level until we learn how to navigate those.
And even hairstyle changes, right?
Oh,
like,
yes.
I just, there's this, I do CrossFit, and you're watching the CrossFit games, and obviously I was looking at the males, this one young guy, 23 or 22, had a mullet. And I just was like, how old is this guy? I'm like, he's only 20, but he had a mullet. And so it's like, I guess is that coming back, or is that you just being stuck in your parents' gen? I don't know. I just think it's interesting because certain things do come back, like certain hairstyles, certain all those things. So it can kind of, as you're saying, it can just be hard to keep up even with way culture and style changes too.
Mom jeans are in again, and there were years there was like, oh no, you never wear mom jeans.
Yes.
Mom jeans are so out and dated, and it all comes back.
So what do you think then are the most important tools to keep your wardrobe feeling fresh and fun as you age, but also, your lifestyle and body changes as well?
Yeah. So there are 3 things that I work with every one of my clients on, and at least 3 things, but these are 3 of the top ones. One is, and I've alluded to it a little bit already, and that is color. And that people think, oh, I always have worn, sometimes people pay attention to the seasonal color analysis. So I'm a winter and like, you always wear those. Well, no, if your hair color changes, which it always does as you get older, it either changes because nature changes it or it changes because you color it, one or the other. It will change the colors that look good on you. And right now, one of the things that happened a lot during the pandemic was when women couldn't get out to get their hair done, they realized after there was 4 inches of gray hair growing in, like, oh, I think I'll just let it grow out and see what happens. And often it looked fabulous. But what they also learned was that the colors they used to wear no longer work, and they didn't feel good in those colors. So it meant really paying attention to the colors that you wear and how they relate to your own natural coloring. Really important. And it does streamline the wardrobe creating process. The other one is really paying attention to good fit. And, women they don't yell at me, but they aren't used to always to having a tailor, but we need a tailor. One day I was in a dressing room with a woman and she tried on this longer cardigan sweater, and the color was perfect. The style was really nice. It was about 2 or 3 inches too long for her. And I said, take it to your tailor, have it taken up, really easy, quick, you're done. And there won't be any problem doing it. And she said, well, how about if I just keep looking for one that is perfect? And I said, how much do you like to shop? And she said, and I knew the answer to this question. And she said, oh, I don't. And I said, then go to the tailor, because you are going to spend, hours and hours and go to many stores trying to find exactly the right piece that fits all of those pieces, when you can just take it to the tailor, have it zipped up, and you're done. So understanding what really fits you. I was actually just doing a virtual wardrobe consultation with a very young woman. She's about to go off to college. And she showed me a top where the shoulder seams were falling off her shoulders. And for her, it just didn't work with her body. So understanding what works with your body shape, what works for combining pieces to create an outfit, really important. And being willing to take those pieces to a tailor if need be, because it'll make you feel you can take the most inexpensive piece and have it tailored perfectly and it'll look like $1 million, or you could spend a fortune on something that doesn't fit you right and it'll just look terrible. And the third thing is, and this is where I've been doing this for many, many years. This to me is maybe even more important than color. And that is that you need to dress in a way that is truly authentic to you. And I call them discovering your inner beauty words, like, who are you? So for instance, when I was working with this young woman in her wardrobe, one of the things that she said is, I just don't feel very good in this jacket. And when we looked at her inner beauty words, which had things like creatively winsome, sensitively perceptive, very gentle words, that jacket that she had on was too harsh. It was too hard. It was too stiff. It didn't fit who she was. And so that's why she didn't feel good in it. So you can dress in something that feels amazing to you. I mean, that looks amazing on you, but doesn't feel amazing on you, and you still aren't going to feel great. So those are the 3 things that are absolutely critical to creating a really incredible wardrobe.
I love that you can dress in something that looks amazing on you, but doesn't feel amazing. Because you're right. Like some people are like, it looks great on you. And you're like, but I don't feel good in it, at all. Like, and I just love that. I love those inner beauty words. So what are some inner beauty words that you feel like some of your clients come up with?
Oh my gosh. I've done inner beauty words, a consultation with hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of women. No two women have ever had exactly the same inner beauty words ever. That's how unique each of us is. And so we have, one of my clients is that she's hardcore quirky. So, I mean, she is really quirky in the way she dresses. I have another client who's refreshingly graceful, very, very gentle in the way that she dresses. I have another woman who, two of her inner beauty words, one is that she's blessedly happy. So she's very upbeat, very uplifting, all of that. But she's also a little bit wicked. So it's really fun to look at how do you create a wardrobe that's blessedly happy, but also a little bit wicked. And which one of those do you want to play up on any given day? So it's really fun to look at. Are you someone who's joyful or passionate or serene or quiet or unconventional? It's like a billion different choices that could go on out there. And then using that information to help you create a wardrobe that reflects who you are.
That's so good. And I love that because it really makes it like how we dress is very individualized to us versus like, this is how my mom or my sister or my best friend dresses. And it's like, that's just not me. And how can we show up authentically, as you said, as ourselves?
Yes.
So good. So what about like, do you think that there is age appropriate dressing, or do you think no matter what the age we can dress however we want? I'm just curious about that.
I'm a big believer in dressing in a way that feels good to us, whatever that means for us. And the one thing I hear from women who are, usually over 50-ish, but often, sometimes even over 40, is, I don't want to look like a teenager, but I also don't want to look like, the old style Nana. There's got to be something in between that can be me and feel appropriate. There also are, and I'm sure you've seen these, there are so many lists out there, don't wear this over 30, don't wear this over 40, don't wear, and mostly I ignore all of those things. I have clients in their 60s and even 70s who wear dresses above their knee and they look amazing. And then I have women in their 30s who never wear anything above their knee because they don't feel comfortable in it. They don't like their legs, whatever it might be. I feel like we have to dress to reflect who we are and to feel amazing ourselves. Obviously, to be appropriate to whatever the situation. If you're going to a funeral, that's a whole lot different from going out to dinner with your friends. But I do not believe that much in the whole age appropriate dressing thing, because I think we all have an inner compass that tells us when something doesn't feel good to us or feels like it's over the top.
That's good, that inner compass. And maybe some of us just haven't looked at that compass in a long time, right? Because we're like looking at outer compass. What is everyone else pointing to? So I love that, like getting back to the inner beauty word, inner compass. Those are so great. So say someone's listening and they're like, okay, but how do I like accept my body as it is right now and dress accordingly? Because I think sometimes, we may wear baggier things to hide it, or we're like, whatever, we're like, we really feel like we love our body. So we're wearing like maybe tighter things, but it doesn't really fit us that well. So how do we like, obviously it's a mindset thing, as you probably know in your work, but how do we shift from just like waiting until our body is a certain way to really starting to like embrace our body now and dress that way?
Yes, this is such a biggie. And I'm going to be doing an Instagram live with Nina Mandelson, who's all about body peace. And the whole wardrobe thing goes all along with body image, as you know. So yeah, you can't just wave a magic wand and say, oh, now I love my hips, or now I love my tummy, or now I love my arms, or whatever it is. But we can make peace with it. We can figure out how to dress in a way that feels okay to us. It feels like it doesn't necessarily draw attention to those parts that we're a little more sensitive to, but doesn't drown us in fabric to try to cover it. I'm someone who Well, first of all, everybody thinks, I hear this all the time because I do these things called front porch catwalks where I give a little tip and I show an outfit that I'm wearing. So many people say to me, you look good at everything. And I'm like, that is so not true. I just know how to dress my body. People think I'm a very straight body and I'm not. I'm actually a pear-shaped body. My thighs are wider than any part of the rest of my body. I have to know how to dress that so that I feel comfortable. I don't care whether people show their thighs or they don't, but I need to dress in a way that I feel comfortable and I feel balances my body. I also was born with being knock-kneed. So my knees meet before any other part of my leg. And I'm sensitive about that. But I spent years, I remember very clearly when I was in college that some friends wanted to take pictures of all of us. And we were coming down the staircase in our dorm, and a friend pulled out a camera and went to snap a picture, and I immediately sat down on the stair. I'm like, I don't want anybody to see my crooked legs. Like anybody cared about my legs and what they look like, but I was so super sensitive. And this went on for so long that I thought, Ginger, this is ridiculous, because what you're doing is you're limiting what you'll wear, you're limiting where you'll go, you're limiting having your picture taken because you're sensitive about your legs. And so I just made a decision that I would learn to dress in a way that didn't draw attention to my legs, but also didn't hide them in massive amounts of fabric. So, and also women, I'm sure you've heard this, as they get older, they get very worried about, arm dingle dangle, the, hanging skin there, which just happens as you get older because our skin loses its elasticity. So even if you're in good shape, it can hang. But I also did a front porch catwalk about this. I'm a big believer that just show your arms. Oftentimes when we try to wear a top that has, sleeves that cover it, first of all, we're hot. And secondly, it isn't always flattering as if you just go sleeveless, which shows off your great shoulders.
Right.
So, I think we sometimes get caught up in what we feel is wrong about our body and forget to focus on the parts of our body that we really love, and learn to dress in a way that, draws focus away, deflects focus from those parts of our body that we don't feel as good about.
I love that. So, talking about sleeveless, I'm wearing a sleeveless now. And I just remember before having a baby, I was really, I won't say that I'm not fit now, but I was actually really came to a point where I loved my arms. They felt like they were toned. I felt like I didn't have the little jiggle that I once did. And then I had a baby and I just was like, I definitely have that now. And for the longest time, I'm like, it is hot in here in Florida. And I love tank tops. So what am I doing? Like, no one cares. And yet, so I just think what you're saying is so, what you're saying is good. It's like, but also but be comfortable in what you're doing, even if no one else is caring. Like, how can you dress in a way that you feel confident and comfortable, but also just don't worry about other people being comfortable about how you dress, so
they don't notice. They don't notice you. Like you said, they aren't noticing our arms. They aren't noticing our legs or our hips or our thighs or any of those kinds of things the way we do. So if we can just remember that and kind of have a little more ease around it, and then dress in beautiful colors, dress in clothes that fit you well, dress in clothes that really express who you are, you'll feel amazing and you'll be less inclined to beat up on yourself.
So good. Yeah. I had this client and who, would just, I think like most of us would, avoid taking pictures because then when she looked at it, everyone else was fine but herself. And I think how many of us do that? How many of us look back at old pictures of ourselves or current pictures and we're either obsessed with how we look because we think we look good, or not. I think so what I'm saying is how do we have a healthy image of ourselves and not think too much about it, because what you're saying is true. People are thinking about themselves more than they're thinking about us. So everyone's just thinking about themselves.
Yes. And when we're self-conscious, people pick up on that energy.
They do.
And that is not always the energy that's never the energy we want to be putting out there. Whereas if we feel good about ourselves and can let go of some of that stuff, at least temporarily, people pick up on the joy. They pick up on the passion that we have, whatever it is, rather than our discomfort, which they may not even know why we're uncomfortable, but they pick up on that discomfort.
I love it. And my goodness, I want to watch one of your front porch catwalks. That just sounds like not scandalous, but it's I'm confident. I'm going to walk on the front porch and like a cat, like that's awesome. Do you do those on Instagram or Facebook?
I do it on both. Yep.
Okay.
It's everywhere. Every Friday they come out, but there's a whole bunch of them all over and I have little tips that I give. It's very fun. I even do it in the winter when it's very cold out on my front.
Oh, wow. But hey, I really love the winter. I feel like I'm a little bit more fashionable in the winter because you can layer and then you got the colors. And so, I've had people say that winter is their favorite time for that. So you gave us just so much great advice and so much encouragement and tips. But, as we're wrapping up and leaving, is there just one piece of tip or like one piece of encouragement that you want to leave with us?
So, yes, when you are shopping for clothing, when you are getting dressed in the morning, never settle for good enough. And we all do that, or we have done it in our lives. And if we do that often enough, we end up with a wardrobe that is just good enough, that doesn't make our heart sing, that doesn't spark joy, that doesn't make us happy to get dressed. So if you go shopping and you put on a top and you go, oh yeah, this is okay, this is decent, this is, good enough, put it back. I don't care if you leave the store buying nothing, put it back. You want to put something on and go, yes, I love this. I feel amazing. This is what I want to wear every day. And you're better off having 10 things in your closet that make your heart sing than 40 things that are just like, yeah, these are fine. So never settle for good enough.
Oh, love it. Never settle for good enough. So good. Well, I know you have a free resource for those listening. So tell us about that free resource, how to look chicken unstoppable at any age.
Yes, I have a video that you can go and watch that's chic and unstoppable. So you can go to totalimageconsultants with an s.com/chic, CHIC -unstoppable. And you can see that there. And then when you get that and watch that, you will also then get other emails from me that have a whole bunch of fashion tips as you go along. So, that's just something to check out and learn more about how to feel chic and unstoppable.
Yeah. And tell us about your book. Oh, That's So You.
Oh yeah, that's So You. It's a book that it's available on Amazon, and basically it walks you through the steps of creating a wardrobe that really partially from a mindset attitude, but gives you strategic tips as well that you can apply. And it is pretty much evergreen. So it has nothing to do with what's going on with the fashions at any given time. It's really just about learning how to dress yourself in a way that makes you feel really happy.
So good. I'll make sure to link both of those in here. Well, as we wrap up, where can people find you on social? Because some people check social media more than their emails. So
absolutely. So you can find me pretty much everywhere at Ginger Burr, BURR, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, any of those places. You can, LinkedIn, all of it. You can find me there.
So good. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. I had so much fun and I learned so much, taking copious notes over here.
Thank you, Brianna. It was a blast. You're terrific.
All right. Thank you. All right, everyone, make sure you check out the show notes to grab all the links and go follow Ginger to get all the fashion tips. All right. Bye.
What an amazing episode. I hope you're leaving just a little bit more inspired to just take note and make simple changes in your wardrobe so you can feel more confident. I know something I've started doing is making sure my hair is a little done, my earrings are put together, a nice blouse, a little bit of makeup, just to feel like a boost in productivity, but also confidence, right? And don't worry, I love myself without those things, but I think it just makes me feel more confident in my body as well. And so I really hope you apply some of the things you talked about. Check out all of Ginger's resources and follow her for her, what'd she talk about? Catwalk Fridays. And of course, I just want to make sure that you know that you're welcome to two things I have coming up. My Food Freedom Challenge, which is happening this week, where we're looking at your relationship with diets, the scale, food, your body, yourself, exercise, and your emotional health. And then I'm running a 6-week group program where we're diving deep into your version of food and body freedom. What does healthy habits mean for you? What does nourishing your life mean for you? What does appropriate, realistic goals mean for you? And how can you celebrate all of that along the way? So make sure you join the wait list and you'll be the first to know when registration is open. Okay, so go to madewell345.com/foodfreedomchallenge and madewell345.com/bootcamp to join the free challenge and join the wait list. I can't wait to support you. And honestly, if you're like, I don't know if the challenge is for me, or I don't know if the boot camp is for me, just sign up. To sign up for both of those things are free, right? The wait list and the challenge. And then I can lead you in the challenge, and I also can lead you in figuring out if the boot camp is a great fit for you. And so grateful for you, and I can't wait to share with you again. Remember, on Thursdays, I do training Thursdays in my Facebook group, More Than Your Weight Women's Community. And this week, I'm going to be talking about more steps to feeling more confident in your body and how it is right now. I will put the replay on the podcast on Friday, but let me tell you, you're going to want to join live because live coaching is always the best coaching, in my opinion. All right. I'll talk to you soon and see you on the next episode. That's a wrap. That's another episode of the More Than Your Weight podcast. I hope you're leaving encouraged and inspired and empowered to go out there and know that your health and your worth is so much more than your weight. So before you go, again, do a couple things. Make sure you join my Facebook group, the More Than Your Weight Women's Community, where there are daily posts, weekly trainings, and just a lot of support to unpack these episodes, as well as get support in your More Than Your Weight journey. Make sure you also follow me on Instagram, where I show my behind the scenes of my own health, but also just how I care for others along the way. And then make sure you subscribe and rate and review this podcast, because more women will see that, but also you'll get new episodes every single week. All right. I'll see you on the next episode and can't wait to support you more.